Okay, today we're going to go over the EWS system on the BMWs. This is for the older BMWs, the 3 Series from 1995 up until 2005. The 5 Series, I want to say it was 93, 94 all the way up to about 2001. The 7 Series, they switched over to CAS. I think it was 2000, 2001. And the BMW Z4, the Z3 and the Z4 all the way up until 2005. The X5 had the EWS system, but I'm not exactly sure which year they stopped using it. These are the different EWS modules. This is the older version, and this came out of a 96, 97 3 Series, and that is considered in BMW terminology to be an E36. This comes apart by pulling the two halves of the case apart, and then you pull out the board, and this is the chip that we're going to read to get the information to make a new key. The next version, that is EWS2, and this is EWS2, but this is for a 5 Series. This is about 98, 99 5 Series, and this has a different carrier, plastic piece that the top opens up. To get the board out, you would push on it and it pops out. Now, the older versions have a bigger plug. I shouldn't say bigger. The contacts are bigger on the plug where it hooks into the wiring harness. Both the older 3 Series and the 5 Series. These, some people say they'll interchange. I have not tried interchanging between a 5 Series and a 3 Series on the EWS2. On the EWS3, I have changed Z4 with a 3 Series and had no problems. So those are the EWS2. This is an EWS3. One of the biggest differences is when you poke your head under the dash, usually on the driver's side, up on the firewall or next to the steering column, you will see this module, and the difference is this has tabs that stick out where it bolts to the firewall. There's plastic nuts that hold this on. To get this one apart, you flip open the top, and then on the plug there are tangs that stick out. You squeeze those and then push it through. Comes out the same. Now this, it's kind of hard to see, but if you look in this one, there are 3 spade terminals and then 12 little teeny terminals. And this is for the later versions. This is anywhere from 2000 all the way up to 2003 or 4. And EWS4 is on some of the later model 3 Series X5s, and supposedly on the later Z4s. I haven't seen one yet. 2005 Z4 had a EWS3. So now to read these, we need what's called an AK90. This is an AK90, and the software that comes with it you put on your laptop. So first we are going to hook up the AK90 to our laptop through the USB, and you'll notice when I plug it in, it'll beep. That means that it's receiving power. Now we have the other part, which is the socket that you will put on top of the chip to read the information from it. In a lot of cars, we go into the car's ECU or the immobilizer, and we tell it, hey, we're going to get into the programming mode, and then we're going to stick a key in your ignition, and I want you to accept it. BMW doesn't have that on the EWS. Or if they do, they actually have it, but you need a factory piece of equipment to go in there and tell it, hey, here's a new key I want to adapt to your system. Those are specific, just like this, but they cost a few bucks more. So for us, just wanting to make a key, basically what we're going to do is first, I wanted to show you the difference between CAS and EWS keys. First, we're going to start the program. We go over here, start the EWS AK90 program, and you'll notice it'll start and then test the COM ports. When it beeps, that means that, hey, it found the AK90 piece of equipment. So now, I'm going to hold up two keys and see if you can tell the difference between these two. One is EWS and one is CAS. Okay, so these are the two keys. They both are 2-track and they both are diamond remote keys. Now, to see if you can actually make a key for this vehicle that you're going to work on, first, stick the key in the reader. Customer comes in and says, I need a key for my BMW. Stick the key in the AK90 and click Test Key. It will read the key and then it will tell you the key type. Now if you look at the screen, it says it's a CAS, CAS2, or CAS3. The EWS with the AK90 will not make a key or read any information from the CAS system. That's a later version, and you actually need other equipment to do that. But now the other key that looks the same, we'll stick that in the reader and click Test Key. This key is an EWS3, EWS4, and basically you will be able to read an EWS and go ahead and make a key for this. So first off, let's do the oldest version, and that is the E36, and that's the older version, EWS2. To do this, what you're going to do is, on the chip there is writing, and it tells you what chip is on this EWS. And if you're like me, you need to put your glasses on because I can't see that close anymore. And on this chip, this says it's a 2 David 47 Jonathan. Now if you go over here to the EWS read write, instead of key 1, let's turn that into a 2D47J. If I click on that, that sets it up for this chip. Also, if you go down to the EWS picture, click on that, it will give you a picture of what the chip looks like, what to look for, and also how to hook up the plug. Let me close this. If you notice, there's a red dot on the top above the Motorola symbol. On the coupler or socket, whatever you want to call it, on that there's a red dot too. Now if I close that picture, if you look at the webcam that I've got going, you'll see the socket, and on this one it's blue. Instead of being red, it's blue. So we take this, and the dot was showing here on the top of the chip. So we'll take this socket and we'll put it over the top of the chip, and then we'll push it down on there and wiggle it a little bit. Sometimes you won't, they put varnish or something on top of these to keep them a little bit protected from moisture and such. Sometimes you have to go ahead and clean it off with a toothbrush and some cleaner. Okay, now we have our chip hooked up. We have it set for 2D47J. Now we're going to read it. It says connect it. Yes. So now what it does is it sends a signal and tells the chip, hey, I need to read you. So you can watch it, it'll read it. It basically powers up the chip and then reads it, just like the ECU would read it when it's asking for information as to whether or not it could start the car. Okay, now it says it read all the data off of it, and it says save the bin file. You can click yes and move on. It'll say save bin file, okay. Well, now that we've read it, we have actually captured all the data off of the chip, and we're holding it here on the screen. Now we want to EWS analyze. What that means is we look at the data that we just downloaded off of the chip, and what this says is it gives you the VIN, the type, EWS2, all of that good stuff. The big thing that we're worried about is the key status. Now, if you look at this, it says keys 1 through 5 are used, and then 6, there's no check mark in the used, and there's no locked check marks. If you just want to copy a key for a customer, nothing else, all you have to do right now is figure out which keys the customer has already, because you don't want to make a duplicate of a key they already have, because if you do, the customer can get in the car, have them both on a keychain, and try and start it, and they'll fight each other. The EWS will go, hey, these two are fighting each other and I don't understand it, and it won't work. It's happened, trust me. Okay, so let's say the customer came in and they have key number 2, and that's it. Okay, well, that's fine. Here you look at it and you say, okay, we've got positions 1 through 5. To make a key for this, after you've done the EWS analyze, you go down to write key. Click on write key and you'll see where it says key 1 through 5 used, key 6 through 10 no use. Basically what that means is the data on the EWS says yes, there can be a key in positions 1 through 5. Key positions 6 through 10, there is no data on the EWS saying that there is supposed to be a key there. This is where everybody gets screwed up, and trust me, it took me a while to figure this one out. If you just want to make a key, pick one of the used positions 1 through 5 and then go ahead and burn a key. So what we're going to do is all your keys, or I shouldn't say all of them, but a lot of keys that come from China, 90% of them have the 7935 chip in them. And for some reason, they seem to write the best when you put them in one of these. This is a remote key case. It's actually an extra. That was a miscut. And you put them in there, and I don't know why, but they seem to work better when you put the fat side down. Most other keys I found work better the opposite. But this is a BMW, which means backwards motor wagon. So we'll put the chip in here, or if you have a remote key that already has the chip in there, or such as this one, I mean, this is a 2-track, this is a 4-track. Either way, you can go ahead, put this in the reader, put your key with your chip, and then click PCF 793035. Now, right now, the customer came in, they have key number 2. When these are sent from the factory, when the car is produced and sent over here from Germany, 99% of them came over with key position 1 through 4 used. I was told by an old BMW mechanic that the company made 4 keys. They sent 3 over with the car and kept 1 in storage. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I was told. And all of them that I have seen have had key position